from the Midwest to the West Coast, from road course to street course, and from China Beach to Long Beach. We're in sunny California for today's Renovo Auto Grand Prix from the Long Beach street course. The track famous for hosting IndyCar for decades, where Michael Andretti, Paul Tracy, Takuma Sato, Juan Pablo Montoya, and more got their first IndyCar wins. Where tonight, we'll see our first-time winner in a feature for our GT-AM class. Driver champion Christian Challoner has already clinched a title and is off tonight to focus on his professional duties. But over on the pro side, we have some unfortunate news. We were second-place driver Sadie Dragster's out for the rest of the season, it seems, with a broken arm from a karting incident, which is unfortunate to see. And hope to see him back on the track as soon as possible. Otherwise, Josh Klogg and Michael Janney are still in an intense battle with only 13 points separating the two of them. I'm Chad Irvine. Alongside me, as always, is Mike Barry. And Mike, this is a very different course than what we've seen throughout the season so far. What can we expect to see tonight?
Yeah, I love Long Beach, man. Ever since it came out on iRacing, well, officially a couple months ago, it's like probably become my favorite road course, a street course. It's just super tight, super challenging, and you gotta watch out for that last hairpin because it will kill you.
Yeah, talking about the hairpin, you got the thing that also stands out is just there's no room for error. Of course, you'll get that at a lot of street courses at basically everyone, but compared to where we've ran so far this season, there is none. I mean, you go an inch wide, you're in the wall. There's tires everywhere, there's concrete barriers. We've definitely seen some guys, even with plenty of runoff, collect the wall. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out here tonight.
Indeed.
Going through qualifying, and so far, I mean, Janney is on the pole in the pro category. Steve Brown over in the M class as well. But what a show we are expecting to see tonight. Meanwhile, Michael Janney does lead your Simracer Coin Drivers Championship points, followed by Savian Ragster, who's 9 points back, but unfortunately, it looks like he may or may not be racing tonight. He did break his arm, as we mentioned, so it's unfortunate for him, and we'll have to see how he is able to finish up in the standings. Then Josh Klogg, 13. He's going to 13 points back of Janney. Going to be interesting to see how he can work his way up. Ray Kingsbury, a huge tumble last week. He's 37 points back, and rounding out your top five is Ivan Pandev, 61 points back.
And looking over at our M category, we have Christian Challoner, obviously locking up the championship last week at Mid-Ohio. Clark Archer, second with 178 points back. Peter Houston, third, 197 back. Jimmy Mollison, fourth, not racing with us tonight. He's 285 back. And then Kieran Forrester out at the top five, 292 back.
Oh, we also have our Spark Virtual Racing Team Championship, led by, of course, Spark Last Lap Motorsports. They have a 27-point lead over Renovo Racing Reloaded, and that's the entire battle right there for the championship. Renovo Racing Chrome is 78 points back of those two teams.
And looking over at the AM category, Masterclass Performance Racing has basically pulled away an 18-point gap over V Apex. So, I don't know, we have an interesting battle, actually. Both of them have acquired a good fair bit of penalty points, so I don't know, it'll be interesting to see how those play out as we come to the final two races of the season.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch so far, and only 2 races to go. 18 points is not insurmountable if you're V Apex. Going to be fun to watch there as drivers continue to work their way through qualifying, and we're going to see a fantastic show here at Long Beach. Looking on board now with Philip Kraus. I think he's won 2, if not 3 races so far this season. Jumping in midway through this season, the Ford is one of those cars that's been interesting to watch just because so many drivers elected not to run it. I think there's only 3, if not 4. You got Team Matco Tools that are all running it, as well as Philip Kraus. And Kraus came in, showed some fantastic speed from the get-go in his debut. He ended up winning. He's already worked his way up to 6th in the points, but he won his debut at Road Atlanta, then got the same result at Barber. Of course, we had that incredible finish between himself and Ragster last week at Mid-Ohio as well. and that was a ton of fun to watch. So Kraus jumping in late, worked his way up to the 6th in points, and he's been fighting all season long.
Yeah, actually, I want to point out right now, Simracer is here. Whether or not he's going to be medically cleared to compete is the question. But he's running 6th right now, which is not bad for someone who's with an injury.
And Philip Kraus jumping all the way up to the pole by 3/100ths of a second at the very last moment. About 40 seconds left in qualifying. You're taking a look at that spark forward there, and wow, that's so close between Kraus and Janney up front. But further back in the field, it looks like most of the Ford guys are going to, Team Matco Tools are running 8th, 9th, and 10th right now. And the gap between first and last in the GTM class, very close. One of the closest we've seen throughout the entire field of drivers through qualifying. A 1.5 seconds from first down to Marwan Mafta, who qualified at the back of the field in GT Pro. So it's going to be fun to watch and see how that plays out. And it looks like Savian has qualified 6th. He must have gotten a flyer in at some point, because that is surprising to see. How long he's hold out, because he was talking. I was talking to him pre-race, and he was struggling just a little bit with the car, unable to get the hairpin down. So we'll have to see if he can keep things out of trouble and keep his shot at the championship alive.
Yeah, I'd be pretty excited to see him make a comeback right here. Quite possibly similar to. I mean, immediately what comes to mind is Ricky Bobby and Talladega Nights, but I know there's a better example somewhere.
Niki Lauda is the one that comes to my mind from Formula One. He, of course, was in a fiery incident and then came back. I think it was 2 or 3 races later, ended up finishing 2nd in the Drivers' Championship. I can't remember what year that was.
1976.
So there you go. See, somebody, I get the bulk out there, and you have the remaining details. So thank you very much for that. And that just shows the tag team that we've got going on up here, Mike.
Yeah. Real fun.
Yeah, we got 2 races to go left here in the season. Of course, we're here tonight for the Renovo Auto GP, and we have to thank the entire team over at Renovo for all their sponsorship throughout this season. Just with everything they've done this season and last, of course, they sponsored 2 teams this year. They sponsored a team last year as well as a race, and we have to thank all of our sponsors throughout. We've got Red Kite and Spark Virtual Racing, Simracer Coin. This show would not be possible without everybody that jumped on board and participated. So definitely have to thank all of them as we get set to roll away for the 15-minute sprint race to start the night here at Long Beach.
Yeah, we're watching these guys right now. 20 angry, very aggressive drivers. Well, not drivers, more cars that are ready to tear around Long Beach. Real exciting to watch.
We have 2 drivers starting from the pits as well. That's going to be the 42 of Peter Houston and the 44 of Kieran Forrest as we get things rolling here.
Let's point out we have a start and conduct right here. Everybody's going to go single file through the hairpin, and then you're going to double up here now. So.
Yeah, and that's a very smart thing to do, because you can see it time and time again. Just
here we go, green flag.
Right off the start, and Philip Kraus jumps out to a huge commanding lead. He's cleared by about 10 car lengths right off the jump.
And now as they come down that long straightaway, going into turn 1 now, it's going to be Philip Kraus and Michael Janney on the end. But it goes to the inside. I think that's Ivan Pandev right there. Oh, I think so, yeah.
And further back,
trouble.
There's a huge pile up at the hairpin. There's Panda, Kingsbury, Matco Tools team, all of Lane, Fanning, and Brokaw all make it through cleanly, but that's unfortunate for Pandev. He's got some work to do now to work his way up, especially if his car is not too damaged.
Yeah, it's going to be unfortunate. Now the GT3s are coming around the fountain. No real instance there. It looks like they all made it through clean.
Yeah, fortunately for these drivers, take a look at the replay. It looks like, Kingsbury and in the 99 of Pandev got into it there, and then plowing in from behind as well was Rags. We're not able to get on the brakes in time. We're gonna have to see how that plays out. Thankfully, though, this is just the 15-minute sprint race. We do still have the feature coming up after, and all that this is gonna do is gonna give points to the top guys, and the rest is just gonna be qualifying from there on out as we get ready to complete the first lap here, and it's still gonna be Philip Kraus out front.
Yeah, Phil Kraus, that's a pretty decent lead right now over Michael Janney. I don't know, going to turn one, though, let's see what happens when these guys are kind of uninterrupted. Janney was pretty close in terms of qualifying times, and we know that Ford is a little bit stronger in terms of the tight section, so it'll be interesting to see.
And we mentioned Peter Houston starting from the pits. He actually he did not take to the grid. He did not complete a lap, so he is not going to compete here tonight. And yeah, Kieran Forrest as well. He was having some technical issues, mechanical issues with his steering arm in his car, and not able to get things rolling off the grid for him as well. So Philip Kraus continuing to lead the way. This is further back. That's Savian Ragster you're looking at there. Right behind is that Josh Cloggin, the two in front of him. There's Dan McDonald right behind as well. So these three putting up, and there's a trade of cars there. That is going to be a very damaged car of Pandev, followed by Lane Fanning, Brokaw, then Mafta. Ray Kingsbury. Ray has gotten around Mafta, and he's got some Team Matco Tool guys and right in front of him.
Yeah, Tim Brokaw walking up there, just a bit scary for Kingsbury there. Let's see what he can do now. I think that Chevy does have the advantage in the corners.
Yeah, 5 positions get pointed.
Almost
getting into the back of Kraus was Janney. Kraus, of course, is probably going to be racing angry after last week at Mid-Ohio. Going to the white flag, he was involved in contact with a slower class car. And look how close that they get to that tire barrier coming off of the corner. I mean, you could probably fit a sheet of paper between them and the wall.
Yeah, I don't think you can fit anything. I think if that car was even an inch wider, he'd be, kissing it. But here they come now down. This is one of my favorite parts of the track. You go under all the bridges, all the pedestrian bridges, and then you come into this really fun corner right here.
Super fun to watch. It looks like things for the most part have spread out through the field. Kraus and Janney still battling. Clog and Ragster, they're about a second apart as well. This is looking out the back of Philip Kraus. And Janney right there looking to pounce. There's still a gaggle of cars there, so still heating up in GT Pro as Kings get his fight. And was that? It was probably, I think it might have been Fanning that locked up right in front of him as well. So yeah, maybe it was Pandev did drop a spot that lap, so it might have been Pandev just pushing too hard there through the hairpin.
One thing that's very interesting to me is that the GT3s aren't that far off pace in terms of them versus GTEs. I mean, GTEs are still obviously faster, but only by about 2.8 seconds, which is a little bit less than we've seen before. And I think that ABS that they have is definitely going to help them on a track this tight.
Yeah, it's been interesting to watch the update this week and how it's impacted drivers. There have been changes to some of these cars. The Ferraris did get a downforce change. Incident for Sindre Silva. He is backed up against the wall further back in the pack. He backs up against the wall, not going to collect him, but he tows back to the pits. Probably the smart move there, because this is not the best track to try to rejoin in front of traffic. He was running he was running 5th at the time that he was involved in that contact with the barrier.
And
this is a look at the replay that Fox Gaming. He just back end stepped out, got in too hot. The brakes spun him around, and he backs up into the wall. Fortunately enough for him, he could have gotten it going again, but decided, he's just going to call it a day. I got something
to say about that. He says that it was a bit too laggy for him, so his computer was having issues. So I'm assuming call that a mechanical failure right there. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there's so many details, rendered in. You can see all of the details in the background, whether it's the buildings, the bridges, the sidewalks, the streets. Everything here has to be rendered in by your computer, and it's just unfortunately some machines are not able to handle it. Working his way up through the field still is Kingsbury. He's gotten past Brokaw. and now he's trying to hunt down Von Panda right in front of him.
Looking forward to the battle for the lead right here. I think Michael Jenny might have a little bit of a run on Philip Kraus. Not quite though.
Going to keep it here with Kingsbury working his way through traffic. And you can see multiple cars are driving very deep and hitting the wall. The benefit to this being the sprint race is you can kind of take a little bit more risk. It might impact your starting position on the grid by 1 or 2 spots, but for him, he's just going to go all out and try to work his way up. Got to make up every position you can. And of course, I believe it's 6th place that gets you a point in the championship. And Ray not completely out of it yet, still with tonight and Scarlett, and losing a bunch of ground somehow, it looks like, to Kevin Fanning down this straightaway. So Fanning going to take lead of this train into turn number 1 and try to go through the fountain cleanly.
Yeah.
And that's the benefit, I think, for Fanning right now, is just look how clean that car is compared to right behind him, where you've got Panda. You see that right side of that wing bent up, and the left side of Kingsbury's car after he clobbered the wall is going to be damaged as well. So Fanning just trying to keep things rolling. There has to be some steering damage if you're Kingsbury and probably Panda as well after the contact. This is going to go on board the cockpit cam, and yeah, you can see somehow pretty straight, maybe slightly askew to the right. Kingsbury a little more noticeable as this is actually there's a contact there. Oh my goodness, there was huge contact there. Panda into the wall.
That's going to be controversial.
And that's going to be the end of his race. He's going to probably start. He's going to have to start from the back. And just unfortunate contact there. Here's a look at the replay. And it maybe looked like Panda tried to go defensive there. And then Kingsbury tried to deke him out to the outside. Taking a look for as we rewind it. You see Kingsbury peeks to the inside, trying to cover him off. Yeah, just barely clipping the back of that car. And just unfortunate, just burying it into the tires there. You see that entire nose disappearing under the barrier.
Yeah, it's real unfortunate for him. He was having a really good run here. Looking back at Ray Kingsbury, he's now got his sights set on Kevin Fanning. He's not letting that phase him. But now we're looking forward at the lead, though. This battle's been going on for the last couple laps. Nothing really changed, but it's like Michael Jenny has not let Phil Kraus out of his sight.
And trouble back in GT Pro. Wow, that was a huge development there. That was Fanning that spun. Kingsbury, in avoidance of him, got plowed into from behind by Brokaw as well.
Oh, Kingsbury punted him again.
Was there contact there?
There was contact.
Okay.
Brake locked up. Absolutely contact.
Okay.
Check look at it again.
This is one more time looking at Kingsbury just got in there very deep. And then Kingsbury ran into from behind as well. So
yeah. Ray Kingsbury making no friends tonight. He does have that point, but he doesn't.
He is into the points, but unfortunately, we'll have to see how the stewards determine all of these incidents because they're just piling up right now.
Yeah, I don't think.
Still up front, though, this is the battle between Kraus and Janney. They've been going at it the entire race. Further back, it's still Josh Klog running third. And if you're Josh, you have to just kind of hope something happens to the other two because you are 9 seconds behind Kraus and Janney.
Here we go. I think Kraus.
Yeah, Ragster with a broken arm running 4th position. I didn't think he was going to be able to run. He was struggling in practice, but he got things going, and he is still holding 4th position just fine. 117.3 last lap. That's the exact same thing that Josh Klog ran. And he's found a way because he was struggling in practice to get that wheel turned around enough through the hairpin, but he must have changed his technique to allow him to get more rotation through that corner. And he's able to get the wheel turned around enough to make it through the hairpin. We're at 4 laps to go here at the sprint race for the Renovo Grand Prix of Long Beach.
Just a really nice comeback from Ragster. Looking forward at the battle for the lead. They're coming up on lap traffic right now. Josh, Philip Kraus gonna have to go to the inside. That's gonna be tough there.
And the worst part about lap traffic here, we're gonna have to see how that plays out in the feature, especially. But I mean, it's just gonna wreak havoc depending on when they catch the traffic, because there's no runoff. They can't just push somebody just a little bit wide, because there's nowhere wide to send somebody.
Yeah, it's just gonna be super interesting. I mean, we don't. Oh, look at Jenny here. Ooh, he sent it really deep into the hairpin here. But
and then Phil just
a really good runoff.
Able to keep the car wound up and get that momentum going in his favor. That's one of those things that we're seeing with the aerodynamic changes. There was a downforce change to the Ferrari, which I think it was the aerodynamic drag was increased, and that's going to change how things work for them.
Yeah, it was pretty unfortunate. Pretty tough for all the Renovo guys, because they've always had the advantage here, and now to lose it, I mean, it's good for the balance of power, but not good for them.
So Philip Kraus still leading here, followed by Janny Klog and Ragster. We do apologize for some of the connection issues that we seem to be having here on the broadcast. We'll try to get those sorted out as soon as we can. And it seems like it might just be a connection to the iRacing server. We're doing our best here. We'll stick with you as we seem to be back up and rolling here. So it's still Janny and Kraus 14 seconds now ahead of Josh Klog, running third, and Klog's still under pressure from Ragster and McDonald.
I'm about to say, if we have to go radio style, we'll go radio style here. We're not going to lead this coverage here.
And somehow there's a battle for the lead back in GT3. Archer has caught Brown. It's under 0.3 of a second. You're looking at it there. And here's out of the left hand. We need to find a way to show every single car on track at once, because you can probably look at any car and just catch a great moment at any time here.
Yeah, I mean, we have two great battles for the lead right now between Kraus and Janny, and Brown and Archer. Brown and Archer, two teammates. And Phil Kraus
Archer peeked to the outside there. You see those brakes glowing on entry. And Archer doing everything he can to see if he can't get around Steve Brown.
Yeah, I mean, it's just such a tough track to pass. I mean, the only best place to make it is if you're coming out of the hairpin, and even then you have to get such a good run. And he just does not have that right now. I think we're coming to 2 laps to go here.
And there's the look at your leaders. That is still Kraus. That's Kraus and Janny.
Yeah,
go through left-hander here now through the final corner of the hairpin. They come around that final corner. 1 lap to go here in the sprint race at the Renovo Grand Prix of Long Beach. There we go.
And I think Janny didn't get a great run there, but they might catch a little bit of lap traffic up here of Sean Stratton and Magnus Hockenhog. I mean, they're going through the fountain right now. It's going to be real interesting if they're going to catch him. Janny right to the rear bumper. He's going to try, but not quite.
And further back as well, Josh Klog doing his best to hold on to third, but the battle up front is what we need to focus on. Look at this, Kraus just holding on for dear life, using every bit of racetrack, trying to be as defensive as he can, but still hold his momentum through this long left-hander. We might have... Are they going to play a factor? It looks like they're catching up at a very intense speed. Oh, you see the swerving from Kraus, trying to break the draft. Can he do anything about it? Janny not able to get the run there. A couple of corners to go.
Oh, it's going to be super close here.
Through the final corner in the sprint. Is he going to get the move done? No, there's not going to be enough time. Philip Kraus takes the sprint race here at the Renovo Grand Prix of Long Beach. Let's take a look back then at Josh Klog. This is the battle for the lead from Brown and Archer GTM.
Yeah, this battle's been going on for a while.
And something's happened to Ray Kingsbury as well. He's dropping back. He's right behind Marwan Mafta now. But it's still going to be Klog, Ragster, McDonald, your top 5 in pro. But we have to focus on this battle for the lead in GTM. As two teammates there, both in the Mercedes. It's Brown leading Archer. Archer in the draft, trying to maximize under braking. You see how deep he goes, but he cannot make up any time there.
Is he gonna send it?
Done? No, it's one more corner.
Not quite.
He gets the better exit. It's going to be Brown taking the win in the sprint race here at Long Beach.
What a battle that was. I mean, it's two great battles for the lead. It's not very often we get to see that, but when we do, it's always a treat.
What a fantastic show. And if that's what we looked at in the 15-minute sprint, we'll have triple that action coming up in the feature. What a show from the guys out there. Let's go real quickly through a rundown of the field as Philip Kraus taking the win in GT Pro, followed by Michael, Janney, and Josh Claude. Then Ragster, McDonald, and Brokaw. Ray Kingsbury 7th, just out of those points that he was so desperately trying to earn, followed by Mafta and Lane, and both Fanning and Pandev were DNFs in the pro category.
Yeah, Pat. And looking back at GTM, Steve Brown taking the win. Clark Archer finishing 2nd. Brandon Lambert finishing 3rd. Russell Clayson finishing 4th. Now you're talking on 5th. John Stratton 6th. Travis Seymour 7th. And Century Silver wrapping out our starters as Peter Houston and Kieran Forrest DNS.
What a fantastic sprint, and stick around for the feature, but we'll be right back for 45 more minutes of racing from Long Beach in the Renovo Grand Prix. welcome back to Long Beach for the Renovo Auto Grand Prix. And of course, we saw a great show in the sprint. We're going to have a great one here in the feature, we hope. We're going to have Philip Kraus on the pole with Michael Janney right next to him. Those two put on quite the battle throughout that 15-minute sprint.
Yeah, it was a real good battle to see, but even then, looking back at GTM, we had a great battle between Clark Archer and Steve Brown.
We're going to see a very quick pace lap here. They're going to go single file once again through the hairpin, then try to get themselves sorted out. The biggest thing for Kraus in that sprint was getting a good jump off of the final corner. So we'll have to see if he can do the same here. They're side by side and getting set to take the green. The pace car, of course, is off, and we are rolling with a huge jump from Kraus. He's gonna get cleared. Not as big of what we saw in the sprint, but look right behind him. Trying to get something.
Those guys are in a championship hunt together.
Yeah, he's going to go around the outside, see if he can't get the move done in turn number 1. They're going to be side by side. Oh, Kraus hits the wall. Kraus hits the wall on the outside of turn number 1, but keeps things rolling, just barely glancing off and able to keep it in the right direction. Have to see if that impacts his car. Looking back, though, at GTMs as they get things rolling as well. They're through turn number 1 cleanly.
Coming into this carousel right now. I mean, it's just those two Mercedes out front. Brandon Lambert in third, holding off the Mercedes 1, 2, 3 here. 3 Mercedes and 5 Ferraris in this race tonight.
Marwan Mafta, by the way, he was going to start in 8th, but unfortunately he missed the grid. Connection issues plaguing him tonight, unfortunately, so not able to start for Marwan Mafta. Unfortunate to see.
Yeah, real unfortunate.
Philip Kraus, though, still out front. There's a battle back, though. That is between, is that McDonald and Ray Kingsbury? Ray Kingsbury locking things up, almost catching the wall there, but look at how he's flashing his lights. Just not very pleased with Dan McDonald there on lap number 1.
Yeah, those the Spark cars and the Renovo cars, they've had a bit of an infamous rivalry for the last couple races. It'd be real interesting to see how that comes out, considering that both of their teams have a driver in the championship hunt.
Yeah, Philip Kraus still leading the way in that Ford, right in front of Janney. This is further back. That's way back there? That is the 72 of Stratton. Is that Okenhagen almost into the wall? It is. Magnus Okenhagen almost collecting the wall in turn number 1. Gets through cleanly, only dropping that 1 position to Stratton, and he's going to look to get that position back. 3 Mercedes, 5 Lamborghinis here in GTM tonight.
Yeah, looking forward back to the battle for the lead. It's Kraus and Janney, 1-2. Josh Clogg in third. Josh Clogg's looking for a good night in the points. He needs to finish ahead of Janney in order to close up the gap into single digits, but I don't know if he can do it. I mean, Janney and Kraus are the 2 fastest cars tonight. He'll really have to win it in order to get ahead.
Yeah, we were crunching some numbers during the break. If Clogg gets the win and Janney finishes third, there's a 1-point differential in favor of Josh Clogg. So we have to see how that plays out. We still have 42 minutes of racing still to go, as Kraus still leads the pack. There's a look at the guy running currently third in points, looking to make up some points. Looks like something happened maybe further back to Sean Stratton, complaining over the radio, saying that he's got ran into the wall by another driver. It's unfortunate to hear.
Oh, yeah, I'm seeing
might
that.
have been Magnus who got back by him.
Yeah, they have side by side through the hairpin there.
There's not a great way to do that. That's not exactly a passing zone. But getting the move done was Okenhog. Stratton has some work to do to get that spot back.
Yeah, really unfortunate. Let's point out real quick the Ford versus Ferrari, throwing it back to Le Mans 1966. Ford out front, Ferrari in second, Chevrolet in third.
Wait, 1966? I thought that movie came out like 2 years ago. Aha. But anyway, Clogg's still in third, and you see Ragster right behind him. And then it's going to be Dan McDonald trying to hold off Ray Kingsbury for that 5th spot. And that's a look at Kingsbury, your defending series champion, as he works his way down this front straightaway towards turn number 1. Laid on the brakes and very close. He's going to go into the barrier.
Into the wall.
He is straight on. Oh, and someone else at the wall as well. That was Steve Lane, the 66
side by
there. More
side.
contact. Oh, more contact for Ray Kingsbury. The 3rd or 4th time he's been involved in contact so far tonight.
Yeah, Ray Kingsbury just not having a great night tonight. Ended up in a lot of people's messes and kind of creating some of his own.
The stewards are going to be looking at his number quite a bit tonight. Not the best night for Team Spark, if you're Ray Kingsbury especially, as Josh Clog's still trying to find a way to claw up some points, and he's going to be further back. Look at the replay, just missing his breaking point completely. See him locking up before they even get towards turn in, and he just goes straight on into the tires. We'll see if we can't keep this replay running, because as he gets things rolling once again, there you see is that Let's Lane that collects the barrier, and then they're going to be side by side here through the fountain, and just completely pinching off the nose of Kingsbury was Lane, and that's where that second bit of contact came from. And Kingsbury get things rolling once again. It might have been Lane kind of expecting Kingsbury to give up that spot and kind of let him have it, but that did not happen. Kingsbury, I know him from both iRacing and from other games online, and he is a very competitive fellow. He's never going to give anybody an inch on the track or on the Rocket League field or wherever you might see him. So if you ever see him out there, he's going to be aiming for you and not going to give you anything. This is a look at the battle for 3rd. Josh Clog losing a bit of ground to Savine Ragster running right behind him in 4th. That's a look out the exhaust pipe of Josh Clog, and they're 6 seconds behind your 2 leaders already.
Let's not count Saving Ragster. I know we've been talking about Josh and Mike Janney, but like Ragster's actually the one in between those two. And even though he's got his injured hand, he's obviously not really showing it right now.
Yeah, that's one thing that we haven't stated enough. We talked about it in the open and kind of briefly mentioned it during the intro or during the sprint race. But wow, I mean, what a performance he's putting on. And we've heard of the flu game, but has there been a broken arm game before?
I don't know. I can't think of one off the top of my head.
We did have a change in position for 5th place. Ivan Pandev did get by Dan McDonald that last lap, so Ivan Pandev up to 5th. He's still 4 seconds though behind his teammate Saving Ragster for 4th spot.
Unfortunately, we're having a little bit of a scoring error right now. Marlon Moffat did not start the race, and he's being shown as 8th. So I mean, let's ignore that. Everybody ignore that. It doesn't count.
Philip kind of still leads the way, though, so this is still the battle for 3rd. Josh Clog still leading those 2 cars, and you see how close and very aggressive Ragster is on exit of that corner. He gets a lot closer to that tire barrier, and that could be risky later on in the race. When tires get worn, you have less traction. That could be very dangerous.
Yeah. I mean, it's just such a treacherous track right there. And now you see Josh Clog still just like not really able to gain a gap on Ragster. He needs to hold on to this podium. He needs to minimize the points loss that he's losing to Janney. Really, he wants Philip Kraus to win if he can't.
And this is gonna be the biggest difference between the sprint and the features. Simply, look how aggressive they are on the curbs. Just how, as the tires go away, as the fuel burns off and the car gets lighter, are you able to adapt? And that's one thing I've noticed about Philip Kraus is that's when he gets more aggressive, it seems like, is later on in the run. He kind of is able to hold his own compared to some other drivers. But Janney right now doing everything he can to just not let Philip Kraus out of his sights, and he's right there on the back bumper going down the backstretch.
Yeah, I don't know if he were to make a pass here. He just doesn't have quite enough of a run here, but he might be able to make a fight, maybe going into the hairpin. I think he wants to be out front. Anytime you can take a pass here, take it, because you don't know when you'll get another opportunity.
Yeah, just waiting for a mistake to come from Philip Kraus. Can Janney do it and take advantage through the hairpin? They come cleanly. And it's still going to be Philip Kraus out front as they cross the line. Under 36 minutes we go.
Yeah, we're having a bit of technical difficulties here on the stream, but we'll keep you updated right now. I mean, Mike Kenny not too far behind. And our producer not happy right now. Problems with iRacing. We'll keep you updated. Maybe if we have to go radio style, we'll go radio style. As they come through maybe turn 5 right there into turn 6. Mike Jenny right on the rear bumper of Phil Kraus.
By the way, I want to note one thing that we did mention a little bit ago, Ivan Panda, of getting around Dan McDonald. McDonald has lost a bunch of time, and now he is under pressure from both Brokaw and Fanning. That's further back. 3 cars that are running nose to tail. That is a battle for 6th, 7th, and 8th. And still out front, it is Kraus and Janney leading the way.
Yeah, this is the closest Janney's been. He's making a move to the inside. He goes into the 4th to last corner. So they come around there side by side. Janney's going to have to concede the position. He's going to be on the outside, inside now into the hairpin. Maybe a little bit of contact there.
Oh, and Janney into the wall! Janney nose first into the wall, able to keep things going. That is huge in the championship because Janney trying to get the win, make up as many points or try to extend as many points as he can. Not going to be able to do it. So Janney, wow, that's a huge mistake there. Just he thought that he could get the move done on Clog. Hopefully there's no steering damage. We'll have to see how things play out for him because he did hit the wall pretty hard with that left front.
Yeah, really unfortunate for Janney. I don't think we can count him out, though. I think he's a little bit faster than Philip Kraus. He was able to stick with him even with the arrow push. So let's see what he can do in a bit of clean air. Getting a little bit loose coming off this corner now as they come down the other side of the freeway.
Clog built the gap out just a little bit from Ragster. Ragster just utilizing as much of that slipstream as he can, doing everything he can. Oh, more trouble again for your points leader, Michael Janney, collecting the tire barrier with his entire left side. There's a whole bunch of damage to his left front, and this is going to be huge in your points championship as he just has a ton of damage to that race car.
Yeah, right. Only 3 or 4 seconds behind now. Josh Clog closing in. If him and Ragster can get around, that will blow this championship wide open. I mean, I think they've always said there's no team orders, race each other hard. They're both technically not even racing on the same team. The producer pointed that. You guys couldn't hear that.
They are in a technical alliance, of course, both between Renovo Racing, Chrome, and what's the other team name that they have? Oh, almost collecting the lot of turn one. Reloaded, yes. Yeah, Chrome and Reloaded are the 2 teams that they have, and almost collectible. Very slidey on the tires right now is Michael Janney, still trying to adjust to this damaged race car. I hope that we can see if we can't get a onboard shot here with Michael Janney, because from his cockpit you can see the entire left front of his car is just bent up. You see that sheet metal just over the top of the dash. It should not be bent up that way. That's going to impact handling and aero. It's going to be interesting to see if there is any damage to how that car is handling it. Actually, interesting to see is a way to put it, because there definitely is, as he's sliding the tires all over the place. Last lap, by the way, 120 for Michael Janney, 117.8 for Josh Clog, so he's definitely reeling him in. And Philip Kraus, 116.8, so it's still a full second even faster than Josh Clog. As they go by the stripe, this last lap for Janney, that was a 117.1 for Kraus. So he actually was able to mirror Janney's lap time, and Clog actually lost 0.6 of a second.
And Clog doesn't seem to have to set up for the race here. I mean, we thought the Chevrolets were going to be really good here, but something happened to them. I mean, we're definitely seeing maybe a Ford bench.
One of the things that I've noticed, especially for these Ford guys, is just the way that they have performed here tonight. Of course, Steve Lane, unfortunately, looks like he has parked it after his contact. Brokaw and Fanning, they were showing some really good pace. They're still battling with Dan McDonald for 6th place, so that's... It looks like this is that battle we were talking about. They actually, Team Matco Tools did get some help from Philip Kraus, the only other Ford driver in the field other than those three. Was able to share his setup with them, and that's definitely going to be helpful for those Ford drivers as they try to work their way up through the field. Unfortunately, their setup that they were running that was very fast, they were telling me, was impacted by the changes to the iRacing rules and regulations that they have in place for these cars, and the way that it worked out for them was negative. And Philip Kraus said, "Hey, here you go, I'll help you guys out," and he definitely did a great job there of just great sportsmanship that we're seeing as Michael Janney last time by the stripe 8 seconds behind your leader, but still 4 seconds ahead of Josh Hogg, who's running third.
Yeah, looking forward to Philip Kraus right now. There really aren't too many great battles on the field right now. Oh, but actually we found one. We have found one. It's Dan McDonald and Tim Brokaw. Brokaw right on the rear bumper, and Kevin Fanning not too far behind there.
And they might have been teammates last year. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, Victor, our producer, is raising a very good point. I cannot remember for certain, but I believe they might have been. Give me 1 sec. I'm going to try to look through our historical documents here and see if I can't pull that up, because I know we have that information somewhere. But wow, what a battle these guys are having here, nose to tail.
They're really
and making the move. This is very late on the brakes as Brokaw up the inside. By side. But next with the advantage going to be Donald. Yeah, this. Can he be aggressive enough with it through the hairpin, locking it up?
He's not going to make
multiple lockups there, and that's going to tighten things up between Brokaw and Fanning.
Yeah, somehow all three of them made it through without tapping that wall. That's real impressive by them. Just shows the talent of the guys in the pro class. Sounds like coming into turn one now. Dan McDonald making the late block. Not really, though. Just kind of look for the outside line. He's going side by side. Here they go.
Oh, that's a very tight move there. There's not much of a passing opportunity through that corner.
There he goes.
But look at how deep he's able to get.
Super aggressive.
Just hammering the corner, hammering the curve is Tim Brokaw, but not able to get the launch off the corner.
Loose. He gets loose off the corner. They're side by side now between teammates.
That move is never going to work. We can look back to the NTT IndyCar series back in 2014, where Newgarden and Ryan Hunter-Reay could not get the things squared away between them there, and we all know who that turned out.
Looking at the Fords again. Instead of Tim Brokaw, it's Kevin Fanning now taking the point for the Matco Tools cars. As they come across the stripe, Dan McDonald with a little bit of a speed advantage. We know those Ferraris are faster in the straights, but he's got the draft.
Wow, he's very aggressive, peeking to the inside like that, but cannot get anything done there. Oh my God, we go back.
Kevin Fanning with a mistake there. It was a lot of time. Almost hit the wall. Thought it was worse. Wasn't really. We just lost the camera at the wrong time.
And by the way, Philip Kraus still pulling way out front. He put up another 3/10 last lap over Michael Janney. So definitely very well in control, as Janney seems to be struggling here with his damaged race car.
Yeah, looking back at Josh. Looking forward to Josh Clogg and Savian Ragster. Ragster right on the rear bumper of Clogg. I mean, they've got a little bit of lap traffic coming up. Magnus Ockenong and Sean Stratton. How much is going to affect him? I don't know. And you can see Ragster right now not exactly getting a great run. He might do a little bit better as they come into turn one. He's going to hold his position, though. Not going to be too aggressive. We know he's racing injured. Maybe he wants to take it easy as they're going side by side into car.
That was just one of the slower cars. Very smart move there from Sean Stratton, yielding to the faster class, and then you're going to see Magnus doing the same there, letting them both by. And the best thing about that is they both had to yield about the same amount of time, so their battle for position is not impacted either. And Savian Ragster, by the way, right behind them as well. Or sorry, Panda there as well, trying to work his way back up into things. We're getting all of these Renovo racing cars mixed up. They're all running the Zebra Stars. They have their faces on the back bumper of their cars. They have different colored mirrors and winglets, and still, we cannot tell them apart, but we appreciate them doing their best to help us out here in the booth.
It's like Madagascar. Some of them are black with white stripes, and some of them are white with black stripes.
Panda now trying to just work his way through that lap traffic. He's gonna get clear into turn number 1. But this battle still for 3rd position is heating up very much, and have to give mad props to Michael Janney right now, holding on to 2nd place and not losing any time. His last lap, 1:16.9. He gained 0.3 last lap on Philip Kraus.
Yeah, maybe Kraus is either taking it easy or just. Well, as you know, Kraus did have to go around some lap traffic there of Russell Clayson, so I don't know.
Yeah, he does have a huge lead for Philip Kraus over Michael Janney. So maybe just trying to save his tires and not have to worry about fuel, because there you see your leader pulling away to a huge lead, but the battle for 3rd is heating up.
Indeed, I mean we're looking at Savian Ragster. He's been a historically super aggressive driver, always willing to send it. We haven't really seen him be that much. Maybe it's his handicap right now, but like, I don't know. He's still putting on a good performance, but it's definitely not up to the par of the Ragster we've seen weeks before.
So we are about to cross halfway here in this race. It's still Kraus, Janney, Clog, Ragster, and Panda of your top 5 in Pro, and Archer, Lambert, Clayson, Stratton, and Oakenhog, your top 5 down in the AM category as well. Back in the AM class, Clark Archer out to about a 6 or 7 second lead over Brandon Lambert. Not too many great battles there. Sean Stratton and Magnus Oakenhog seem to be the closest 2 on track there in the AM class.
Yeah.
And this is Kevin Fanning working all over the back bumper of Dan McDonald. Connection issues, maybe? Uh-oh. Yeah, this is Dan McDonald. He seems to be back rolling once again. Definitely a connection issue for him, and Fanning all over that back bumper.
And looking at Ragster, back at Ragster and Clog, not much of a difference right now.
He's doing his best. If you're saving Rags, just holding, biding your time, hoping that the driver in front makes a mistake and seeing where things go. As they keep things clean, though, between the 2 of them as they go through that long right hander. That's very dangerous because those tires just jump out at you on the left side. It's a very difficult track to pass, but it's also very easy for you to make a mistake if you're right with another driver. You're looking out your mirror trying to defend your own position, but further back, I wonder if we can't get a look at this battle between... Oh, huge trouble here further back. Fanning and McDonald, they almost collected another driver. That was that Stratton, I believe, as they went 3 wide out of one of the final corner here. We'll see it. Look at the replay here.
Kevin Fanning maybe getting ready to make a move on the inside.
And just checking up was the laps car to let them both by, but not expecting it were the other 2 drivers of McDonald and Fanning. So thankfully they're able to keep things clean. They got by them cleanly. Hopefully, Victor, I wonder if we can't get a look out the nose of Kevin Fanning's car at the back bumper of Dan McDonald. You see that circle on the right side? That is the beautiful mug of Mr. Dan McDonald right there. And what a great job they're doing incorporating all their drives into that car. Look at that beautiful face.
I didn't notice that was taking shot. I mean, it's pretty cool to see.
You always have to have your have some fun with your drivers. You know, make sure you are treating this as much as it is a competitive simulator. It also is a game as well, and you gotta have some fun with it, and maybe poke some fun at each other and yourself at the same time. These are Renovo Racing Pro guys, and
looking forward to third. It's like Ragster's probably the closest he's been in a couple laps. He's getting real close on clock here.
Very aggressive is Savian Ragster, of course, driving with that broken arm from a karting incident. He put the footage of that incident up on YouTube as well, and oh, you can tell that he was in some pain when it happened, and just showing his true grit, racing as hard as he can here, even through all this pain.
Yep.
The worst thing that he can do right now, other than, of course, hurting his arm even more, is collecting Josh Clogg in some sort of incident. Clogg, of course, still battling for the championship, right behind the championship leader, and Ragster's in that battle as well. Actually, yeah, we're kind of forgetting to mention that, too. Ragster was second coming into the race, so definitely going to be interesting to watch.
He's still sitting second.
Yeah, still going to be. Yeah, that's one thing. Like, I wasn't even expecting Ragster to show up tonight. He posted in the league Discord server last night talking about how he was probably not going to race, but he gave it a shot, and here he is currently running in the top 5 and trying to hunt down that last step of the podium.
Yeah, the fiery spirit of Savian Ragster. I mean, he has it on the track and
very loose there.
Coming on
what a fantastic save. Great throttle control by Savian Ragster, able to keep things pointed in the right direction. Losing some time, though, and he's going to have to find a way to make all that up, digging hard as we are under 20 minutes to go now here at the Renovo Grand Prix of Long Beach.
And I think Ragster's going to have to take some time, regroup, and get back to the battle here. I mean, he's faster in a lot of places, but he's also slower in a couple places. I mean, we definitely can't neglect the aero push that affects all of these cars now. So let's see how it affects.
Yeah, and the one thing that I'm noticing from riding myself on board, listening to the throttle control of Savian Ragster, is he's driving it a lot more with the throttle than a couple of the other drivers. He's using the gas just to rotate the car even that much more. Kind of just doing everything he can to just flick the car around under acceleration, and doing a great job of it. Of course, it didn't pay off there last time through the hairpin, but it's still working out very well for him. We'll have to see if his tires can hold up through it, as he runs very wide there. You can listen to that throttle as he picked it up very early on exit. Got that car to rotate through as he now comes down this long front straight. We'll listen once again as they go through turn number 1 in just a second. Hear those tires squeal just a little bit as it came out of that fountain section. That's anytime that you do that, anytime you slide those tires, that's going to put a little more temperature in them, and if it builds up enough over time, that is going to impact the performance significantly of those tires. You're going to get a very slidey race car after a couple laps of doing that. He's caught right back up to Josh Clogg. I mean, we saw him lose a ton of time after his half spin, quarter spin maybe, after his slight loss of control through the hairpin just over a lap ago, and now he's caught right back up to Josh Clogg, and Clogg really seeming to hamper his performance. These these Ferraris really love this track.
Yeah, it's really interesting. We thought this track was going to hurt the Ferraris. We know the Ferraris are fast in a straight line, but maybe not as good in the corners. But no, I mean, it's like they've been holding their own real well. I mean, even after the change that happened this week where they got drag added. Last
time by the stripe, Kraus 9.1 ahead of Janney. And then they're 11 seconds back from Janie to Clog, and then of course, you know, you see Rags, they're just half a second behind Josh. So definitely spread out a little bit through this field. This is definitely still the battle to watch. This is the battle actually in GT and the battle for 4th position between Magnus Okenhog there in the 26 and the 182 of Steve Brown. That is Lambo versus Mercedes. Definitely been fun to watch both of these cars. They're really close here on track, as you can see, and making the move up the outside, not the best spot, and collect. Did he? Oh, he might have just glanced off that tire barrier for sure, and he's gonna lose some time as well. But very aggressive move there from Magnus Okenhog.
Yeah, tough.
Saw him perform very well last night over in the Simracer Coin NASA Rallycross Challenge, and catch that finale as well is next week. You know, that's going to be fun to watch. Got a championship battle there as well as we have one here. Over there, it is, I believe, between Sindre Silva and Connor Parisi, two WRX drivers. There's a 5-point lead, we're being told by our producer. Of course, Victor and I believe you were there as well last night, Mike. What happened to you there in the C main?
I had an accident.
I caught about half a second.
It wasn't my fault.
I caught about half a second of you on your roof in the background of one of the shots, and I couldn't help but shoot you a little message today about that because I gave myself a little trouble with. Oh, we're being told. Oh, Ray Kingsbury right on the back bumper there. He's trying. Doing everything that he can to get around Dan McDonald. McDonald must have some issue because he's got something wrong with his car. Yeah, he's got damage to the front of his car, his left front. Yeah, he lost positions to both Fanning and Brokaw. Damage to his left front. And his left front looks almost identical, actually, to Michael Janney. Making the move now. Oh, collecting those. Ray Kingsbury. Ray Kingsbury contact once again, or at least making another driver be involved in contact there as McDonald just clobbered the wall. Here's a look at the replay. Setting it up the inside, not leaving enough room, and that's definitely going to impact the steering there. That left front of Dan McDonald is not going to be pointed in the right direction anymore. Yeah, barely making it through.
Right now, it's real close. They're coming up on a lap car.
One thing to note, McDonald has his steering about 15 to 20 degrees to the right now, so that's definitely going to impact his performance. He's probably going to finish here at the back of this field, currently running 9th. But that battle right there between Clog and Ragster still heating up. Very aggressive across that curbing is Savian and Ragster. I thought that iRacing might have implemented something when this track was released to try to prevent some of that, but looks like it's not doing enough to deter Savian Rags from being very aggressive through that right-hander. These are a couple of teammates, of course, between Fanning and Brokaw, both in those beautiful Matco Tools Ford machines. A 68 of Fanning out in front, that yellow one right in front of Brokaw in that red machine. This is further back. Maybe a mistake from Ragster. He's lost a little bit of ground here to Josh Clog. Just catching lap traffic, it sounds like, at the wrong time. You can see him peeking into the background there, but that's just unfortunate. So Rags are probably going to catch back up to Clog momentarily because we've seen that happen a couple of times so far tonight. Let's take a look here at the replay. It was just before the fountain section. Turn number 1, we've talked about how that wall can jump out of you, and very late on the brakes. You see completely blowing the apex. Locking up the tires, but keeps it clean. Fantastic driving there, able to keep this out, but hopefully his tires are not too scorched after that one. And that is going to be critical there. Josh Clog feeling the pressure off just a little bit. 11 and a half minutes, about 10 laps to go for these guys. Wow, I mean, Kraus still holding now up to an 11-second lead over Michael Janney, but that's just gonna maybe lock up the second or third place for Clog, depending on if Ragster can make up that time or not.
I mean, Raxter, I think he's got the talent to catch up. Well, he would if he had 2 arms, but like, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
So Raxter did drop a spot. Yeah, Raxter did drop a spot to Pandev there. So that's his teammate, of course. One of many Renovo cars out here tonight. And it is their home Grand Prix, of course. Renovo Auto, known for doing a lot of work with, I believe, autonomous vehicles, if I remember correctly, from last season. And they've done a great job supporting both their drivers and this series throughout both last season, the inaugural NASA GT Americas, and this 2021 A season as well.
Yeah. Looking.
This is still a Philip Kraus, your leader, and he's got quite the gap back to the next car in line. Not too many great battles to look at on track right now. Maybe we'll go back to Kevin Fanning and Tim Brokaw, because they are just, I mean, they're teammates, but they want to fight each other hard and put on a good show for us up here in the booth and for all of you watching at home.
And we appreciate them for it. I mean, unfortunately, a lot of the battles have fizzled out now, just due to the nature of this track. I mean, one slip up will cost you, but I don't know. We're still having a good fight here.
And that's the thing about these two Fords. You know, they're very similar on pace. The drivers seem to be very equal on skill as well. And when they're running the same setups, I mean, they can just match each other lap for lap for lap. And they just, you know, it's the opposites attract, but in this case, you know, these magnets are very, very, very similar as they go to turn number 1 once again.
And now just looking around for other battles. I mean, yeah, a lot of things fizzled out. Only one is still Kevin Fanning and Tim Brokaw.
Last lap, by the way, Quag and Pandev, identical lap times down to the 10th of a second. The difference was 3/100ths faster, less than 3/100ths faster for Josh Quag over Pandev.
Yeah, I mean, I'm start tallying up the points right now, just real quick. Just looking at where we're going to be sitting probably after this.
Yeah, it's going to be very close. Ray King's very struggling a little bit tonight. Currently running 8th. He's definitely going to lose ground, and it's going to be down to a 3-car battle, it seems like, after tonight.
I'm thinking 2.
He is showing faster lap times than the 2 cars that are in front of him, but he is 4 seconds behind them. So he's got some work to do as we tick under 8 minutes to go here from Long Beach. I don't think that his pace is going to be enough to let him catch up to the guys in front of him. McDonald, of course, you know, he's been involved in contact numerous times, and he is about 1.5 seconds off the pace of anybody else here in the GT Pro field.
I just want to point something out real quick. And it's been every time we go through that part of the track, it bothers me, but I really wish they'd open up the uphill part of the track when you're looking out, just coming off this. I think it's turn 6 or something. Reminds me of a Crazy Taxi. No, turn 8. Yeah, coming off of turn 6, going to the turn 8. Yeah, that one right there. That one right there.
Man, I haven't even thought of Crazy Taxi in years, and now I know what I'm going to be ending up doing after the race tonight, because oh my goodness. An interesting note, though.
From Formula 1 way out, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that's an interesting note that was just pointed out to us by Victor, our producer. A very knowledgeable guy, because he knows everything about all racing ever, and he can tell you just about anything except for
the basic stuff.
Yeah, he can tell you everything except for how to drive a car.
Yeah.
But then again, neither can I, so that's why we're up here in the booth and these guys are on track.
They're making us look bad right now, but it's all okay.
And this is running now on board, of course, with Fanning, trying to work his way up. Got quite the gap built over Brokaw now. So this is on board Brokaw, or with Fanning, sorry, in front of
And we're looking at right up the hill there. Oh, we lost it for a second. There it is, right there, right in front of us. You should be going up that hill. That looks super cool.
And just do a massive jump there with your crazy taxi.
Yeah.
I mean, that paint scheme is great for it as well. I mean, that yellow with the black. Maybe just a couple checkers on there, and it'd be beautiful.
It would be. See, speaking of which, I'm going to head over to Steam real quick.
That's perfect action for week 13.
That's some TNT After Dark stuff. By the way, guys, if you want to join TNT After Dark, come and find us in the hosted sessions, basically at 11 o'clock every night.
TNT After Dark is where Mike and I get some shenanigans going, but we're under 6 minutes to go. We have to focus on what a race we're going to see here. Under 5.5 minutes to go now. About 5 laps or so remaining, and it's still Philip Kraus by now 6 seconds. That gap might be closing. Kraus, mistake? Sorry, 9.3, so down a second at least from last time they crossed the stripe. Yep, just when you catch left traffic, it's going to be the biggest thing about where that plays out. So still Kraus and Janney a little further back on track, though. Josh Klog ahead of Ivan Pandev by 3 seconds or so. And that is a look there at the 113 of Michael Janney, that Renovo Auto Ferrari. Still Kraus, Janney, Klog, Ford, Ferrari, Corvette, your top 3.
Yeah, just looking around the field, not much to watch right now. All the battles have unfortunately fizzled out, as is the nature of this racetrack.
Yeah, I guess there's not too many battles. Lambert is slowly catching Clark Archer for the lead in GT-AM. He is about 10 or so seconds behind, but he did make up 3/4 of a second last time by the stripe. By the way, I wonder if we can't get a look on board with Philip Kraus. It looks like he's had some contact with both his left and right front of his car. It looks a little bent up.
I see a little bit, but not much.
It looks slightly bent up at least. I mean, yeah, you can see that right front there peeking out just off of the roof cam. You shouldn't be able to see that much of the right front fender.
We just made contact with the wall there.
You see, yeah, it's very jagged looking, just very skimming the wall, being very aggressive, trying to make the most out of every corner that he can. His lead still is 8.7 seconds last time by the line. Janney last lap made up 0.3 of a second over Kraus, but still, Kraus now having to deal with, of course, a lapped car just in front of him. That is Russell Clayson. Clayson's been a very clean driver all season, and he's going to yield. These are the two actually that at the end of the Mid-Ohio feature. Clayson is the driver that ended up costing Kraus potentially the win there, because he was in a very intense battle with I believe it was Janney, or no, sorry, with Ragster. And then Janney was right there to capitalize as well, so it ended up being Ragster, then Kraus, then Janney, your top 3 last week. And this week it looks like it's going to be Kraus, then Janney, then Klog. 1, 2, 3.
And, I mean, just doing the math for the points right now. I've been doing that for the last couple minutes. I'm looking right now, Michael Janney's going to have about we're looking at an 18-point lead over Josh Klog, and then saving Raxer, he's going to drop about 15 points back. He's going to be a distant third, but still not out of question for him. We'll have to see. So 3 laps to go, coming through the final couple of corners here for Philip Kraus. Going to take the 2 to go signal this time by the stripe. And he's well on his way to yet another victory here in NASA GT Americas.
this time at Long Beach. What a performance he has put on, leading every single lap tonight. Started from the pole and never looked back.
A bit of blinky problems there just due to some iRates and things, but Phil Kraus still our leader. And just look at, really, Phil Kraus just came out and he put a clinic on the field. Jenny was a little bit close to him, but he made a couple too many mistakes. Jenny's just been clean, consistent, and fast, and I think that's real impressive for a track like this.
The gap for third is closing, but Pandev's still 2 seconds off of Josh Clogg. I think that if he had more time, he would definitely get him. But Pandev just trying to do everything he can. He sees him. You can definitely see that car just in front of him as he goes, especially through the fountain section. But Philip Kraus working his way up through the front and still holding on to a dominant lead.
Yeah, coming out the final corner now. This is going to be taking the white flag, I believe.
Oh, this is...
Oh,
wow, they must have
taken
the checker flag, and we didn't even notice it?
Yeah, I guess we didn't notice that. I saw 2 laps to go there.
I thought that we were still coming to the white flag this time.
Yeah, me too. Congratulations to Philip Kraus. He wins the race. Michael Janney finishing second. Josh Clogg still coming through. He's probably going to finish third. Ivan Pandev right on his tail, though. Been a real him, but it's not going to quite work.
Might just be having an iRacing timing issue.
I think we just saw. Hold on, I think I just saw some team orders. Savian Ragster on the last corner. Ivan Pandev pulled into the pit. Ivan Pandev's in the pit. I think he went. Team orders. Ivan Pandev in the pits now. Look at that. He's
I don't think
giving position to Savian Ragster.
I don't know what happened there. Yeah, Pandev just...
I don't think he ran out of fuel. I think he just...
He did run out of fuel because he didn't even take the appropriate pit entrance.
No, but look at this now. He's accelerating now. He didn't pit for fuel.
Yeah, Savian's out of fuel as well. Philip Kraus is down pit road. Okay, the race must be over. Okay. Wow. That was a very confusing finish because we were
I think, without a doubt, that's some team orders right there. Panda pulled in his teammate Ragster to give him the extra couple points so he can be in a championship fight.
I'm not entirely sure what the issue was. Maybe point accumulation. I don't exactly know what happened there. We'll have to see if we can't get some interviews as we await some drivers to join us here. We'll have to see.
Yeah, looking at the math right here, that will give, if it was team orders, this would give Ragster 2 extra points, which is, every point matters here. So we're not gonna.
We'll have to see. We're going to wait for a couple of interviews here, waiting for the drivers. We'll go through our field real quick as we await. But Philip Kraus is your winner, and actually, it looks like we are set to have him join us here in the booth. Philip, what a race you had. You got the pole and just kind of never looked back.
Yeah, it was a race. It was interesting for the first about 10 laps. I think something happened to Gianni. I know we made a bit of contact in the little tight hairpin, but after that he just kind of disappeared off my relative. Don't know what happened to him. I'm assuming he might have gone off again or something like that.
Yeah, it looked like he was trying very hard to catch up to you and maybe make a move on you, and unfortunately, pushed too hard and caught the wall. Some damage to his car, not allowing him to put up the fight. But another win for you, and I think that's your 4th maybe win of the season. Does this feel like redemption after last week at Mid-Ohio?
I don't think a result in the next race is going to make me feel any better about the last race, but it's nice. It's nice winning races, obviously, but I tried to throw it away by bunking a few walls at the end. I just lost focus.
Yeah, it seemed like everybody was having trouble with some of the walls jumping out at them. What were your thoughts on this track? It's very different than anything else that we've seen so far this season.
Long Beach is one of my favorite tracks. I'll never say that I dislike anything about it because I just really enjoy the track. It's fun in pretty much every car you throw at it, except maybe a cup car. I don't think they'd handle this track too well, but in general, it's a really fun track.
If you haven't tried the '87 Cup car here, personally, I would never recommend it. But our producer Victor is telling us that it is a very fun combination to
And
run.
I would recommend it too.
We do
Loose
have
is fun, loose is fast.
We do have one more race. Looking forward to Charlotte next weekend. I wish it was the oval. It's going to be the Roval. What's your thoughts on that race?
Rovals there, it's gonna be a bit messy. It's kind of the equivalent of the bull ring, I feel like, the Rovals, to be honest, because like it's not meant to be what it is, but it is what it is. Charlotte differs from that a little bit, but a lot of other Rovals, it's more of an oval, and then it just has like two right-handers built into it. This one's more of an actual track, but it's still going to be a bit messy because turn one, if you've ever watched a cup race, that's a really messy corner usually, and the backstretch chicane should be fun because I feel like some people are going to be trying to hop those curbs, and you might see a few flipped cars if they do it a bit too wrong.
Well, hey, congratulations on the win, and we will see you next week at Charlotte.
Yeah, thank you.
That's Philip Krause, of course, winner overall here tonight at Long Beach. All right, and looks like next we're going to be moving on to our second place finisher here in GT Pro, Michael. Michael, what a show you put on tonight, doing your best to fight through the damage after collecting the wall early.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for having me. Yeah, there's a little bit of a lesson to be learned, I think, from every race I do, and maybe this one more than others. And I really think I had the pace there to challenge Phil. The lap prior to me losing it into the corner, I had the ability to get by him, I think, but kind of second guessed myself into the braking zone. So the exchange was a little weird. So, but yeah, the when I hit the wall there and collected that damage, I had missed the breaking point, and there's a lot of bumps on Long Beach. I collected one of those, locked up, and I knew I was going for a ride, so I tried to slow down the car the best I could, and hit the side of the car so I wouldn't get any wing damage, and I'd say it worked out pretty well. But yeah, even after that, I still think I had pretty competitive pace, but just a little disappointed in my own performance tonight, even though I got the second place. And in terms of championship points, I mean, that's still the best I can ask for, I think, with the effort I put in so far.
Yeah, I mean, after you collected the wall, did you feel like it was mostly just damage control with Josh Clogg and somehow your teammate Savian doing his best out there tonight as well?
Yeah, I don't know if the audience knows, but yeah, Savian would race that race with one arm because he broke his wrist, and I don't understand how he did that race. Like, I'm actually shocked. If there's any winner here today, I think it's Savian, because I don't think a lot of people would have attempted that, let alone had the consistency and the result that he had. But yeah, I mean, after I hit the wall, I just was like, shake it off, get your head back in the game, and hot lap. And yeah, I mean, luckily I got no steering damage. I think it was all body damage, so it wasn't too bad in terms of damage lost or time lost in the straights from damage.
You're able to extend your championship lead just a little bit with one more race to go. What are your thoughts next week on the Charlotte Roval?
My entire goal is just to stay ahead of Josh, because I think points-wise that secures me for the championship. So I'm going to put in a ton of practice and hope for the best. But at the end of the day, racing is racing. Got the really good highs and the really good lows. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Anything's up, I think.
Now we ask you this question every single week, and I'm going to go ahead and try to guess your answer. You want to thank everybody from work that is watching on your call. You're gonna thank your teammates that help you put the setup together, and you're gonna of course thank work for sponsoring, of course, not only your team but this event. Is that correct?
Yeah, Chad took the words out of my mouth. I don't know how you did that, but I guess it's routine at this point.
It's not our first time talking to you this season.
Yeah, only thing left off that is, my family is watching and supporting me, so I always appreciate when they watch the stream. And yeah, just shout out to Renovo for sponsoring me and putting me where I am, and teammates. And I mean, you said it. It's just repeating it at this point. Thanks, Chad. But,
yeah, I kind of learned the routine, but you have to get a full speech prepared for next week, depending on if things go your way. One race left, and you're in the championship lead. Best of luck over at Charlotte.
Thanks so much, guys, and thanks for having me again. See you hopefully next week.
Sounds good. That is, of course, Michael Janney, your second place finisher tonight and your championship leader over in the GT Pro side. Looks like we got one final interview, and that's going to be Clark Archer, your winner down in GTM. Clark, what a show you put on tonight. You really just pulled away with it.
Well, my teammate did me a lot of favors there by not putting enough fuel in his car for the race, so I don't think I was going to pass Steve without that.
Oh, man, you guys were battling, I think it was back in the sprints. I mean, you guys were battling real hard. Just talk about kind of your battles on track and how it kind of played out differently than maybe at a regular road course because of how tight this track is.
Thought with, Steve and myself with basically the same setup, it was going to be impossible to pass. So I just tried to stay close in case he made a mistake. It was funny in the sprint race, we were basically pretty close together. Not the sprint race, the feature race. I was right on his bumper until he realized he didn't have enough fuel, and then he just left and took out like 2 seconds in a few laps. It's pretty impressive.
And fuel calculation is something we've seen go awry a couple times over the last 2 years here in GT Americas, and man, it's always one of those things that's interesting to see. You do, by the way, you're second in the points, and you basically have that locked up at this point. Of course, Christian Chandler running away with it with his stellar performance this season. But how's the feel, coming in ahead of guys that have shown pace throughout the season, coming second so far?
Honestly, I'm kind of surprised. I feel like I've made so many stupid mistakes, like self-spins and things like that this season. I mean, I watched last week's broadcast, and you guys were actually on board my car when I spun out of the lead in the sprint race. It's just spectacular mistakes, and yet somehow accumulated some points. So I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah, and we're going back to back weeks of very different track types. Last week we were at Mid-Ohio, a very natural, flowing, and open road course. This week we are at, of course, a street course where things are very tight, very narrow, and very punishing. Next week we'll go to a Roval, where you can definitely get some moves done there at Charlotte, especially maybe going into turn one and that very dangerous chicane. What's your thoughts on that track?
Well, I haven't done any races at Charlotte. I did one recently in a Legends car in a league, but it was just 5 of us messing around. But I haven't raced that track since back in my rookie days when I used to run the Solstice there, and that was always a disaster. I mean, people wrecking everywhere, so we'll see how it goes. These cars are awfully fast for that track, I think.
Man, you don't hear people talk about the Solstice very much, but as we wrap things up here, man, any shouts you want to give? Everybody you want to thank?
Yeah, thanks to iRacing for giving us half a second upgrade in the Mercedes damper package this week. That was amazing with the engine braking. Also, literally in the same conditions, pre and post patch found half a second with no other changes except a slight tuning on the high-speed dampers. So thanks to them. Thanks to you guys for the broadcast and all the work you do. And thanks to my teammates, Steve and Russell. I mean, we're working really hard on the setup together, and it's really paying dividends, I think. So really good to have supportive teammates.
Well, hey, congratulations on your win tonight, and we'll see you next week at Charlotte.
Thank you.
That's Clark Archer, winner here in GTM at the Renovo Grand Prix of Long Beach. And one final interview as we get ready to wrap things up here, joined by your second place finisher in GTM, Brandon Lambert. Brandon, great to have you up here in the booth.
Oh, it's fantastic to be here.
It's always great to hear a familiar voice, and we've talked to you a couple times through this season, and just interacted with you throughout. What were your thoughts on tonight's race?
I thought tonight's race was really clean, which was kind of unexpected, to be honest with you. I thought we'd have a little bit more calamity with such a tight racetrack, but the field got spread out, and I was just able to keep it in one piece and come home P2 somehow.
Yeah, it's a very different track, and when you see guys make mistakes in front of you, how do you capitalize and not let yourself fall into that same boat, knowing that you could be caught out by a new wall at any second?
You just gotta really pay attention. That's what it all boils down to. Just make sure you're hitting your marks, and try not to follow the guy in front of you. If he plows it into the wall in front of you, you just gotta know what you're doing, and watch out for anything at all times, especially at a tight track like tonight.
Got Charlotte next week. Got your hopes high for that one?
I'm not sure. I've only ran it in a cup car before, so I don't know how to handle it in a GT car yet. So, but I've got some track time there. Maybe they'll help me out. I know cup cars are a lot more crazy at those type of racetracks. Definitely a whole different experience. So with downforce and overall grip, it's going to be a pretty intimidating race, but that's something I'm looking forward a lot to.
As we wrap things up here, man, anybody want to thank? Any shout-outs you got to give?
I just want to thank my new teammates, Kieran and Taylor. Happy to be a part of Masterclass Performance Racing. Kind of giving a little spoiler, but I am joining them for next season in GT. So we are in the talks of figuring out what car we're going to drive, and but I got to say the Lambo was a lot more stable than the Audi, and I really enjoyed driving the car, and hope to help this team bring home the AM championship and see if we can go after a championship next season.
Well, hey, congrats on your second place finish. We'll see you next week at Charlotte.
Thanks, man.
Brandon Lambert, your second place finisher here for the Renovo Auto Grand Prix of Long Beach. We're getting set to wrap things up, and of course we're getting set to wrap things up on the season. So thanks for joining us for the Renovo Auto GP. Make sure to tune in next week for the CubeCast Championship night from the Charlotte Roval. Also, don't forget to stop by these same channels on Wednesday night for the Simracer Coin NASA Rallycross Challenge. They've got a tight championship battle as well, with 1 week to go there. And of course, we'll have Josh Mertz, as always, joining you from the Championship Cube next Wednesday for that season finale. That starts at 9 Eastern here on the same Twitch and YouTube channels. For Mike Berry and our beautiful, amazing, incredible, and very knowledgeable producer, Victor Vallee, I'm Chad Irvine. Race hard, race safe.